If you enjoy farm podcasts, then tune into Carrot Cash Flow for all things farm business. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tips, and stories from market farmers running businesses just like yours. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Carrot Cash Flow today. When I look at the site, there's no vegetables, and I know that's canned a lot. Is that an equipment specialization thing? Are you at capacity for fruit? Is fruit just your niche? Why is that?
The biggest reason they used to do vegetables here, health wise, is why we don't. Botulism is what it basically comes down to. Botulism. So I'm not an expert, so everybody should take this with a grain of salt. But my understanding is botulism can't develop, the spores can't develop the toxin below a pH of 4.2. So we do high acid fruit. We only do things that have a pH below 4.2. And so botulism isn't a risk. So we don't need to pressure cook the cans like you would with vegetables. The requirements are much stricter when botulism is a risk, as it should be. It's just not something you play around with.
Got it.
So that's why we do the fruit and not the vegetable.
So say I'm in your area and I wanted to bring fruit in to be canned under my brand. What's the smallest or what's the minimum amount I even need to bring to make it worth your while to look at it?
We don't have a minimum. I probably should, but it's nice. Somebody can bring a bucket of peaches in and we'll can them for them. That said, I'm probably losing money on that bucket of peaches that I do for that I run for them. We charge by the can. And so, if we want to do a good job, somebody brings us 20 pounds of peaches, they're probably going to get 10 cans of canned peaches back. It's somewhere between 2 to 2.5 pounds of peaches per can. So yeah, we don't have a minimum.
What's the charge to a grower per can? Where's that range fall?
It's right around that $2.50 a can. You talked about earlier, our price was around $6 a can for if they're buying our product with our label on it. If somebody has a peach tree in the backyard and they bring in 5-10 buckets of peaches, we'll can them up, and the price is $2.50 a can. So it's a little more reach. I apologize.
No, you're all good. No, I just thinking of a grower. It's if you have the labor and you can pick the fruit and the fruit's there, if we only focus on the value add side, the canning, you're 2 to 2.50 a can into it, plus your cost, you're selling that 6 to 8 to your customers on a shelf stable product that you might otherwise just let fall to the ground, go to waste, donate, do whatever with. That's pretty attractive. I think the biggest thing is there's probably just not a lot of you around. Like you said, there was more in your area and you're the only one left. And that's the one disservice we have now in a lot of ag is it's been so enlarged and consolidated that it makes it there's the disadvantage to the smaller scale people because you just don't have all these services where probably back in the 20s, early teens, or early 1900s, there's just a lot more of these options available. And I just wonder if you'll see a resurgence of this, like a lot of the local craft, the whiskeys, the microbrews. We're obviously there in farming. You're starting to see that. Does canneries and
I don't know if you can still hear me. Oh, there you are.
yeah, I got you. Do they follow suit and people fill this gap?
I would like to think so. It is. I've seen more people. I see more interest from people, and maybe it's because of the side of the business I'm in. I apologize. I have a little bit of a cold and it's definitely affecting my voice. I see more interest in people coming to me and saying, "You can this for me." And, a lot of people who have a fruit stand or something like that, they really understand marketing and maybe even better than I do. And so, whereas they don't understand the canning process. So I see a lot more interest in that. But I think if somebody is interested in the mechanical side of it, in the equipment and the canning, in what's possible there, I think there's a real opportunity. But you need to be interested in that. And
Right.
people just aren't exposed to it. So how can they be interested in something they don't even know about?
Yeah, or where to even start. It's so, in one hand, it's so common in our lives because you walk in any grocery store in the US and there'll be thousands or tens of thousands of cans of stuff in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yet you ask somebody to show you a cannery, they can't find one on a map, let alone nobody's been to one or has any concept of how it gets in the
Right.
can. I
Mm-hmm.
think people know more about how milk gets in the jar than how stuff gets in a can. And people are super disconnected on that type of stuff. It's, I think it's an interesting model for somebody who also likes ag and you want to be involved, but let's say I don't want to be the canner or the grower. I could definitely see a model, and this would fit my interests and like my skill set. And I don't want to do this, but it'd be I find somebody who has good quality fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I buy the fruit. I bring
Mm-hmm.
it to you who can it with good quality, and then I'm a brand builder. Like
Yeah.
the hard part for me and the expensive part for me is getting it in the can. Not that $2 a can is expensive, but the $200,000 to get the canning stuff
To
is
use the equipment, right?
expensive. And you could build these like niche brands around that type of stuff. And I know you do applesauce. Is there, I mean, could somebody come to you and say, hey, I want to do, I don't even know if this is a thing, but like pear sauce or
Uh-huh.
effectively baby food, which could just be like mashed up peaches, barring any sort of regulations and stuff? Like, do you take on those types of
Yeah,
things?
I've had the pear sauce is an interesting one. I had a fruit stand from up on Mount Hood that said, "Hey, we've got these pears, and I'd like you to make a pear sauce." And so, okay, so what's involved in that, and what equipment do we have, and we ran it through the equipment, and we cooked it, and added sugar, and tasted it, and added spices, and made it up, and they tried it, and they liked it, and they're selling it to their customers. Within the bounds of the pH, we can do quite a bit, with fruit, and happy to work with somebody to come up with a recipe that is unique to them and that they can label. And the part about putting, I think for fruit stands, and if you're selling in a farmer's market or something like that, I think the idea of putting your label on the product, and then people take that home and they put it on their shelf. And so then if they want those peaches, if they want that applesauce, if they want that pear sauce, if they want whatever it is, they're not going to just go buy it from another farm stand. They're going to come back to your farm stand, to your farmer's market booth, because that's where they know they get that product that they really like. They're thinking about you when they open the can and eat it, open the jar.
Yeah, we are in a world of that's competing for eyeballs and attention.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can gather eyeballs, get attention, and use that to build brand loyalty, then there's just so many things you can do with that. You don't necessarily have to be the grower or the packer. You could just be the seller and happily support other people who are living their dreams in the food system, which is where I want to go. What would you say to somebody who has aspirations to go down one career path and finds some obstacles, yet finds themselves, I'm assuming, happy in a totally different career path that they might have otherwise not anticipated going down.
So just as far as like with me with getting the cannery instead of buying a farm, is that kind of what
Yeah,
you're
I mean, you wanted to be a farmer, you got priced
Mhm.
out. There, I mean, in some ways, it's like that's what I wanted to do. And I got told no by the world in not so many
Mhm.
ways.
Mhm.
I'm sure canning, owning a cannery was never on your radar.
Mhm.
The opportunity presented itself. I'm assuming you like it because you still own it to this
Right.
day.
Right.
The world works in crazy ways, and Steve Jobs said you can never connect the dots until you look backwards. You
Right.
can't when you look forward. And just for younger people who maybe have this idea of here's what I want to do that will meet obstacles, you're somebody that met obstacles and you pivoted, you flowed. What do you think?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Some of it is, as I look back on it, it wasn't necessarily that I wanted to be the only thing I thought I could be was a farmer, but farming looked like it would give me the life that I wanted, where I was in charge of myself, I was my boss. And so I feel like the cannery, when I saw the opportunity here, it felt the same way. It was, this is an opportunity to set my own destiny, to be in charge, sink or swim, whatever. It's up to me. And so that was the important thing when I saw it, was just that it was the same opportunity, just in a different look than farming, but the same general feeling. And yeah, I hit roadblocks all the time. One of the best things I think all the time, and I tell myself this, is the best thing a lot of times that can happen is you run out of money, because then nothing focuses my mind like I've got to buy a truckload of cans and I don't have anywhere near the money to come up with to buy a truckload of cans, but the fruit isn't going to wait. Okay, what are we going to do? It's the same thing with buying a cannery or running a farm. Is the obstacles are where the opportunity is. I really feel to step things up to the next level, because when you hit those challenges, that's when you're learning. When I find that all the time, when things are easy, when I've got enough money in, when I've the product's running great, I've got lots of customers, I'm not learning much. But when I get stuck, it's okay. Now it's like you just got to open your mind and where's the opportunity? Where what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Yeah, that's very well said. There's many times where I find myself thinking, how am I going to pay for that? Like you, I'm in a front end. I have to often buy stuff before it's sold.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be tight at times with cash flow and inventory business. And on one hand, it'd be easy. If everybody could do this without financial challenges, without equipment problems, without access to money problems, then there would be a lot more stuff out there. And then competition would be that much harder. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the people that can figure this stuff out that really succeed. And I think, I don't know, what do you think? The biggest problems you have or challenges with your business probably aren't selling stuff or branding or getting customers to like your product. It's probably things like employee issues and equipment issues and cash flow management and staying sane at the busiest times of year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think a lot of times the things people worry about in a business, or they think they're going to need to worry about, are the things that take care of themselves. And the things you end up worrying about are the little things you never expected you had to worry about, yet they're
Mm-hmm.
critically important. And every business has their own deck of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I think every business is going to have its own challenge or look. Probably for us, it really is. It comes down to marketing. I have people that come, an example, during COVID, I had somebody reach out to me and had 30 acres of pears, and he was interested in having us can them for him. And I said, I'll do that, but before I do that, you need to go out and figure out how you're going to sell those pears. I've always been able to can more than I can sell, and I can more. And yeah, I'll can your pears for you. 30 acres of pears, you're going to have 50, 60, 100,000 cans of pears. And how are you going to sell them? And for this business, it really is, it's the marketing. It's how, because we are selling at a higher price. I'm not selling a commodity. If I was selling a commodity, the marketing wouldn't be a big deal, or it wouldn't be as big a deal, but I'm not. I'm selling at a higher price. And so it is the marketing. And so that's the challenge with this one. But when I worked on a farm, when I was organic farming, the biggest challenge was water grass. How would we handle this grass that would just take over a field if we weren't on top of it? So every business is different. Everything is a challenge. And then just for individuals, my personality, if I have a good employee who's conscientious, I am happy to let them to be in charge of themselves. I'm not interested in micromanaging them. That's something that's easier for me, but there are things that I struggle with. And so some of it's just figuring out what's your strengths, what's your weaknesses, where do you need to focus. And yeah, some things are going to be harder and some things are going to be easier.
Hey there. Want to spend less time pulling weeds? Check out Soil Shield by Modern Grower. It's the pre-cut landscape fabric solution to help you drastically reduce weed pressure. Just roll it out, staple it down, and plant. Then let it do the work for you. Say goodbye to endless weeding and hello to more free time. Plus, it's high quality, durable, and will last for years, saving you time and money in the long run. It's available in a variety of row and hole spacings to accommodate all the crops that vegetable farmers grow. Learn more about Soil Shield landscape fabric at shop.moderngrower.co or using the link below.